Hi, this is Matt Slauson. I realized when I made my video on making the valve stems, it was pretty hard to see what I was doing with the threading on the stem, so I thought I would try to do a little bit better job of demoing that. So, like I said in the previous video, I have the lathe set up to cut from left to right. And so I'm cutting away from the chuck. So in order to do that, you actually have to spin the lathe backwards. Now on my lathe, this chuck is a cam lock chuck, so there's no danger of it unscrewing. On the typical Logan and Craftsman and older South Bends with a 1.5" 8" or other threaded spindles, you got to be careful if you decide to do this, because you can unthread the chuck if you spin it backwards, and that won't be pleasant if the chuck comes off while you're doing this. So I have this valve stem set up, and it's just another one of the blanks I made for the stem. I have it in this keyless chuck because my 6-jaw won't close down small enough to grip it on the shank. So it's all set up, it's turned down to the correct diameter, and I have a tool bit in here made for cutting from left to right. So I'll try to give a little close up on that. So it's ground to cut from left to right, so the rake on it is cut back a little bit so that I get a nice clean cut. But it's a 60-degree V. And the only thing that's weird about it is that it's small and it's mounted in the tool holder upside down. So it's actually going to cut, and the chips are going to fall. Well, I guess they'd have to fall down, but they'd be directed down by the tool bit. So it's going to travel this way. So if you've never cut threads before, there's no magic to it. It's nothing that's really all that complicated if you understand how the machine works. So the quick change gearbox is set up to 40 threads per inch. If I had a change gear lathe, I would look in the back of the box and check to see what gear train I would need to make 40 threads per inch. I've done this on the little Grizzly and Harbor Freight lathes. You can do it on those. It's kind of a pain changing the gears on them, but it works. Over here is my thread dial. Because I'm cutting an even number thread, 40 threads per inch, I can engage the thread dial on any one of the numbers. In fact, any one of the half numbers as well. If I were doing an odd number thread, that wouldn't be the case. Usually what I try to do, so I don't mess something up, because usually by the time you get to this stage, you've got a little bit of time in it, and if you mess it up, you've got, whatever that time was wasted. So I try to engage on the whole numbers when I'm doing something like this. So I'm going to come in, touch off on this, and do a scratch pass. I always check to see if I'm actually cutting left to right or right to left, whichever I'm doing. So without anything close to the part, I'm spinning the chuck backwards, and I'm going to engage the half nut lever. And it is indeed feeding the right direction. So I'm going to come over here and see that? It's an easy thing to do. I automatically turned it on forward because that's the way you normally cut. I'm going to come over here. Okay, I'm just touching. And I'm looking at my thread dial to see what number I'm at. And I'm going to turn it in about 10 thousandths. And then I'm going to engage on one of the whole numbers. And again, I could do it on any one. I just want to make sure I don't make a mistake. Now, cut a scratch pass. It looks like the thread's about a third of the way as deep as I need it to be. I'll come back, I'll retract the cross slide, and I'll come back to the beginning, and I'll engage it again. So I'm at about 183 on my dial. It's an arbitrary measurement. I'm just looking for, so back it out, put it in reverse, come back to the beginning. I'm going to go about 190 on the dial, and I just missed the 1 on the, so I'll wait till it comes around to the 4, and I'm engaging the half nut lever. On my lathe you pull up, on some other lathes you push down. On the little Harbor Freights I think you push down as well. And that looks pretty good. I'm at 190, I'm going to back it off. Come back to the beginning. Yep. And we're going to do it again. Okay. I get the and the valve. And we'll see how it is. Threads on there. I'm going to go back over it one more time with a scratch pass, leaving it at the same depth. Back that off. Come back to the beginning. And turn this on. There it is. I'm a little long on the guide, so, or on the, there's my stem.